Back now at 8:12, we all have certain things that drive us up a wall, but for some people, the slightest noise can cause major anxiety and a lifetime of isolation. They suffer from a mysterious condition that was profiled in this week's New York Times. Here's NBC's Mara Schiavo-Camp.
Listen to this. A leaky faucet, ticking clock, a hungry dog. Everyday sounds that most people can ignore. But for people who suffer from misophonia, subtle sounds trigger intense rage and nerve-wracking anxiety that is hard to dial down.
The fear is that I won't control the rage. It's huge, it's physical, it's everything I have turns into a boiling pot of rage, and then I have to talk myself down because this isn't the way you're supposed to live.
For Ada Siganoff, it all started at the dinner table when she was a girl. The sound of her family eating would trigger very adult anger.
When I was 9, I remember vividly, I so desperately wanted to be close with my mother, but I couldn't stand to be near her physically because of the sounds that she made.
No matter how loud, Ada's hatred for certain noises expanded. Few in the medical community recognized the condition outright, and doctors thought she had post-traumatic stress disorder. She spent years in therapy.
What they experience is kind of a Mount St. Helens eruption of emotions and feelings associated with these sounds.
Dr. Marcia Johnson is an audiologist in Portland. She runs an online support forum for people who think they have misophonia. Nearly 2,000 have joined, many of them self-diagnosed.
When they go around the communities looking for help, they're often just turned down left and right by the medical providers. The medical providers have never seen another case like this. They don't know what to make of it.
Ada found her best treatment is often avoidance, eating dinner in a separate room from her husband or making her own noise and screaming to release tension. As more people hear about this little studied condition, Ada hopes her story will let others with similar experiences know that they are not crazy.
It's almost like the underground is coming out. The community is growing. The truth is, I didn't choose this. I can't think my way out of it, and we need help. And it's happening.
Heidi Salerno says she suffers from misophonia, and Dr. Rossini Raj is a Today contributor and the author of What the Yuck. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Your condition, you say, is when you hear someone chewing.
Yes.
It just causes what in you?
It's panic, it's rage. You really just want the person to stop. And it's not just chewing for me, it's loud-mouthed, open-mouthed chewing, chomping, slurping. Gum chewing is really difficult. Snap, crackle, pop, popcorn, going to the movie theater. But what happens is you just want it to stop, and you really get an instantaneous fight or flight. So either you want to knock the person's teeth out so they can't chew anymore, which is pretty intense, or run. Run as fast as you can.
I don't know which has been worse for you, the pain of this, the struggle with this, or the idea that people thought you were crazy. So how relieved are people when they finally realize that there's a name for this, it's a condition, you're not alone?
It's just a weight is lifted off you, because I've had this since I was about 8 or 10. Most people get it when they're between 8 and 13. And you live your life, or we have, the older patients, we've lived our lives completely isolated, believing we're the only person with this issue and not knowing that other people have had it. Thank goodness for the internet. But just the feeling that, my God, I'm crazy, and why can't I be like everybody else? Why can't I brush it off? Why can't I ignore it? Is really troublesome.
Dr. Raj, how can people know that they're not just being annoyed by sounds, but actually have this condition? Right. And what can they do about it?
Well, I mean, we have to make the distinction. As you said, just getting slightly distracted or annoyed by a noise, which can happen to many of us, is different. You know, what Heidi's feeling is a real visceral, really strong physical, revulsion from a noise where she wants to run away, she might feel rage or anger, and, we don't know exactly what's causing it, but there's probably something going on in the way the brain is processing the sound that's affecting the limbic or emotional system in our brain. So what can they do about it? Unfortunately, right now, we don't have a lot of treatments. Honestly, many doctors don't recognize it as a condition. We're really learning more about it every day. But someone needs to study these patients to find out why it's going on and what they can do about
And
it.
the interesting thing is that in your family there have been generations of women who've had this, so
there probably is a genetic component to it. I mean, at this point, I think the first step is knowing that other people have this. There are support groups online. I know Heidi has talked about some coping strategies that she's employed. At this point, it's really learning how to live with the disease, because right now we don't have a treatment for it.
Thank you so much for being here. We wish you every luck, and this is just the beginning, I think, of reporting on this. And Dr. Raj, thank you so much for your information.